Hey, it's Captain Roger. Sorry, this week is turning into sitting in a car with God instead of walking with God. But hey, we're still talking about walking with God. And today, instead of going for a walk, I'm taking my children to the dentist when hopefully I'll be able to go for a walk after that. But just in case, thought I'd get this recorded right now because I don't want us to take forever getting through the Samson story. In fact, I'm going to kind of roll some pieces together here in the last half of his story all into today, so that we can finish up with him. Samson is known mostly for being really strong, which is funny because you would think that he would be mostly known for being really, really, really not very bright. Um, Maybe he is, I guess, but his immense strength is attested to in a couple of ways. First, at one point, he's ticked off all the Philistines by setting their crops on fire with that fox thing we talked about yesterday. And his own people come and arrest him and tie him up with two new ropes, which then we're told when he's given to the Philistines, he breaks as if they're burned flax, just flexes and they fall right off. Uh, so that's the first big feat of strength. And frankly, whether that was a feat of strength or just him undoing some ropes, we really can't say. The next feat of strength that's suggested or attested to is Samson fighting and killing 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of an ass, which sounds pretty impressive. But there are similar feats of military prowess scattered throughout the Old Testament. So, I mean, it's not that it's not amazing, but it doesn't really suggest any great strength. But the next story after that, this is actually the one place where his huge strength is really, really attested to. And it's he goes and visits a prostitute in Gaza. And while he's there, his enemies find out he's there, and they try to lock him in the city and get him. And he gets up in the middle of the night. He sneaks out, and he rips the city gates off the walls and carries them up to a hillside on the other side of the valley from the town. So when the townspeople get up, they're like, hey, our gates are gone. Where are they? And they look out, and there on the hill on the other side, gleaming in the rays of the rising sun, are their city gates. And Samson, of course, is nowhere to be found. And we go from there to the story of Samson and Delilah, which, quite frankly, is a story about adult gameplay between a man and his beloved prostitute, which is mostly about dominatrix bondage kind of situation. In case you're wondering why he keeps getting tied up every night, it's pretty clear if you understand the Hebrew idioms why that is and how exactly it is he keeps falling asleep with all of the stuff tied up. But I've gone already too deep into that for this. And his great strength is attested to here just by whatever has tied him up. He breaks the bonds and chases away whoever comes to run in. But again, it's not really a feat of strength so much as it's just an ability to get out of knots. And then finally, after he has been captured, his strength leaves him, and when he gets his hair cut and he gets tied up and he can't break his bonds, he's taken into captivity and his eyes are put out, and he's brought out at parties for the Philistines to make fun of by beating him up or throwing things at him or just seeing him there and being able to make fun of him. Because when people didn't have TV, they were even crueler than they are now. And eventually, at some point, his hair starts to grow back, and he finds himself chained in this big party that's going on in the temple of Dagon, the great god of the Philistines. And he's chained up to the central pillars. And so he prays to God, give me my strength back one more time. And he pushes on the pillars, and the whole thing falls down, killing thousands of Philistines in the building and Samson himself. And in these ways, his strength is shown. Now, what's never really seen in any of these stories, with one minor exception, is any kind of awareness that he was supposed to be God's representative to Israel. God set him up to be the judge, the person who could lead Israel out of its captivity and into a glorious future. And I think there's a pretty big message in that. The one time we do see him give at least lip service to God is after he kills the 1,000 guys with the donkey's jaw. He prays to God, saying, "Thank you for giving me this victory. Now, how about a drink of water? Get on it," because he's kind of an ungrateful strong man. Now, I think that's actually the center of what I get out of this second half, or in fact, all of the Samson story. The Samson story tells a story of someone who's more interested in self-gratification than in being grateful for the things that he has in this world, the things that God has given him. And I think a lot of times if we focus on being grateful for what we have, we will find that our lives tend to go in a much different direction. They tend to go in a direction where we are walking with God rather than a direction where we are walking on our own into difficulty, trouble, darkness, loneliness, or adventures where we just don't have that kind of reassurance that we do when we know we're hanging out with the creator of the universe. So let me encourage you for today, walk with God. And I'm sorry this was so long while you were sitting in a car with Roger. Hey, grace and peace to you all. I'll catch you tomorrow.